I have a treat for you. We have actually 2 speakers. This is a total surprise, a wonderful surprise. And so they do an event here, Texas Heritage, right here. So if you guys will turn your attention, and I want you to really pay attention, there's a poem that's been written, and I am tickled to death for you all to hear it. All right, come on up.
I don't want to hold up the peach cobbler line, so please feel free to go ahead and get your cobbler. A couple of years ago, Terry Boothe, who I grew up with, we've been friends since 3rd grade, and he had a party out here, which he does a lot for Texas Independence Day, and he asked me to, if I'd write a poem for Texas Independence Day. I was born in Gonzales, which is the cradle of Texas liberty, as most of you may know, and I've always been a big fan of Texas history. So I wrote this poem. It's called Texan Pride, and I think it kind of covers the bases. Sometimes folks from foreign states, they misunderstand our pride. If you weren't raised here, it's hard to see our side. It's about independence, about honor. It's about the land. It's about making your own way in life and being your own man. Our forebears stood tall in Gonzales, answered when tyrants came with a shot from their little cannon filled with horseshoes, nails, and chain. Morning fog broke over the Guadalupe, and the Mexicans demanded the gun. They got Sarah DeWitt's "Come and Take It" flag, waving proudly in the sun. Those men who died at the Alamo, outnumbered 20-1, they left a legacy for us to live up to. It's passed down from father to son. Was it legend and myth that Travis drew that line in the Texas sand? Well, those legends and myths remind us there comes a time when you take a stand. The settlers who came to Texas, they knew when they left their home they'd chosen a life of hardship, but they wanted a place of their own. Texas was heaven for men and dogs and hell on horses and women, it said. Now our women are independent and strong, and better horses haven't been bred. I can't tell you where we're headed. Things are changing way too fast. The young folks are becoming homogenized. They're losing touch with their heritage and past. We can only hope that there lies buried somewhere deep in their soul an ember still aglow that bursts into flame when they hear "God bless Texas" or "Remember the Alamo." And we may tell a Wendy or two. Some would say we brag, but you can raise it anywhere on earth and they recognize our flag. So when they scorn or condescend, speak up, set them straight. Be proud that you're from Texas, the sovereign Lone Star State. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I would like to make one thing very clear. I'm a native Texan only because this is where the doctor slapped my fanny. But those of you who were not born in Texas, but chose to make a life in Texas, y'all are double Texans. Y'all got place of pride. I came by accident, but when you packed up that U-Haul and you came here and you chose us, thanks. Thanks for throwing in. Now here's another admission. This is my first ever duet. And my colleague, Owen Temple, will be backing me up. He is a singer-songwriter of some reputation across the Lone Star State. And he said, look, we can do this. Let's put together this show. Don't just do a sit and get. Entertain these people. So that's what we're going to do. So why is Texas the way it is? What is it about this place that has attracted so much attention over time and has given rise to larger-than-life legends and lore that continue to color this state's identity? Now, the land surely played a part, but geography and climate merely created a backdrop. The people that were born here or came here have made Texas. What seemed like an inhospitable zone to many has proven to be a land of promise to those with fortitude and nerve. This is their story and yours.
Gone to Texas, baby. Gone to Texas tonight. Gone to Texas, baby. All I need is a ride. Take us on the ride, Don.
In 1821, when Mexico emerged as a new nation, its economy was in a shambles. Threatened by the Spanish, the French, Americans, and the ever-present Comanches, Mexican leaders needed to people their northern border. They took a chance and invited American immigrants into this undeveloped region. Where others had seen Texas as a land full of difficulties and vexations, incoming Americans saw a land of boundless opportunity. The Mexican hope and the settlers' dreams of prosperity for Texas would take a lot of work. Pretty soon, Texas had a reputation. A typical saying was that Texas is heaven for men and dogs, but hell for women and oxen. Yet, Texas was worth the work. These newcomers may have become Mexicans by law, but they remained attached to the ideals of the American Revolution. In fact, one Mexican official observed, "Honorable and dishonorable alike travel with their political constitutions in their pockets." That was true. And these Americans also believed in certain inalienable rights and were quick to defend them. Now, at first, everyone pretty much got along. Then, Mexico fell apart. In 1830, the Mexican government changed its mind about all these Americans. So they closed the borders. It didn't work. The promise of Texas was just too strong.
Gone to Texas, baby. Gone to Texas tonight. Gone to Texas, baby. All I need is a ride. You say that Texas ain't no different than any other place you go. Well, you ain't been with me, 'cause you'd already know there's a feel of the deal from behind the wheel that makes me need these Texas roads. Gone to Texas, baby. Gone to Texas tonight. Gone to Texas, baby. All I need is a ride.
By 1834, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna remade Mexico and ruled with an iron grip. 8 Mexican states, including Texas, revolted against his move. They wanted their old rules back, the rules that they came with. Well, Santa Anna, he moved quickly and harshly to crush these rebellions. Then he turned his focus toward Texas and its troublemaking Americans. In San Antonio de Bexar, 186 men led by William Barrett Travis, James Boothe, and David Crockett made a stand at a small mission known as the Alamo. After a 13-day siege, Santa Anna defeated the defenders and wiped out that small garrison. Then, at Goliad, government troops captured a sizable Texian army and ruthlessly executed 400 prisoners. As you can imagine, Texans quickly shifted from a lukewarm loyalty to Mexico to white-hot enthusiasm for independence. So who were these daring men bent on making a new nation? Well, on average, they were a bunch of 40-year-olds. Most were entering middle age. Most of them had families and obligations. By and large, they were born in the South, but a handful came from Pennsylvania, New York, and Massachusetts. Others hailed from places like Ireland, England, Canada, Central and Eastern Europe. Many were farmers, but there were also many merchants, land speculators, lawyers, and doctors. There was many of them as there were sodbusters. True, a few of these Americans were unruly, but mostly they liked rules. They just didn't like it when people changed the rules without their consent. Among these revolutionaries were natives of Mexico too, who, like their compatriots born elsewhere, opposed tyranny. All of these men understood that the promises of liberty transcended national borders and nativity. On March 2nd, 1836, this collection of risk-takers announced the creation of the Republic of Texas. Yeah, that's an applause line. The question that hung in the air that day was, what kind of country would it be? Here in the land stretching from the Red River to the Rio Grande and from the Sabine to the great unknown to the west, American ideals would be tested in the field. On April 21st, 1836, General Sam Houston led these bold Texians to victory on the battlefield of San Jacinto. It was a day that changed the world.
Well, here's an audio comic book about Sam Houston here for you. If you feel like it when I say Old Sam, you could clap your hands twice and go Big Sam. So it'd be like Old Sam. Big Sam. You got it. Audio comic book. Here you go. Well, Timber Ridge, Virginia is a mighty fine place. From that soil sprung a leader of the human race. He had eyes full of thunderstorms and hair like gold. He was 7 feet tall when he was 6 years old. Old Sam. Big Sam, yeah. Old Sam. Big Sam, yeah. Well, down in Alabama in 1812, he and Andy Jackson raised all kind of hell. He got shot by an arrow, but he had no fear. Hero was the job he chose for his career. Old Sam. Big Sam. Old Sam. Big Sam. Well, Sam got tired of being the governor of Tennessee. So the Raven flew south to live with the Cherokee. And he smacked a nasty congressman right in the face. He said, y'all go to hell. I'm gonna find a better place for old Sam. For old Sam. So he rambled on down to western Arkansas. He kicked around in Oklahoma, where he took up with a squaw. Well, in those days, Texas was damn near Mexico. And old Sam decided next that's where he's gonna go. Old Sam. Old Sam. Yeah, and that old Santa Anna was a dictator and a thief. Getting him thrown out of Texas was a mighty big relief. After swatting Santa Anna like he would a pesky fly, he drank a river full of whiskey and ate a piece of pie. Old Sam. Or maybe it was peach cobbler. Old Sam. Big Sam. Nice job, you guys.
The new Republic of Texas had plenty of problems. Deeply indebted to American creditors, the country claimed a huge swath of territory. There were simply too few people facing too many problems. Texans hoped sincerely the United States would soon annex their republic before the new country collapsed. Instead, they had to wait. The Republic of Texas struggled for nearly a decade while navigating Indian affairs, invasions by Mexican forces, and a ballooning national debt. Even so, Texas persisted. As President Sam Houston declared, Texas has yet to learn submission to any oppression, come from what source it may. Now, this Lone Star stubbornness paid off. Skillful political maneuvering and diplomacy finally led to annexation in 1845, minus its western third, which Texas had to swap to the U.S. to pay off the debt it carried into the marriage. Who needs New Mexico anyway? At last, solvent and safe, Texas grew rapidly. Southerners moved in, as did Germans, Poles, Czechs, and other Europeans. What had been a diverse Mexican borderland became an extension of the American South. And when the South seceded from the United States and formed the Confederate States of America in 1861, Texas joined them. Now, its soldiers fought on nearly every Civil War battlefield, and 1 in 5 Texas Confederates died in that conflict. At the end of the war, the state emerged, defeated, but relatively untouched, as no major battles had occurred here. On June 19, 1865, U.S. officials in Galveston announced the freeing of all slaves in Texas. It is a date which is still celebrated as Juneteenth, now a national holiday. When U.S. troops moved back into Texas, some of the newcomers wondered why they even bothered. One disappointed commander remarked, "If I owned hell and Texas, I would live in hell and rent out Texas." What do Yankees know anyway?
Yeah, well, Sam told folks not to start a civil war. They told Sam to go find the door. He sired 8 kids on the Gulf Coast plain. They don't bear his scars, but they all bear the name Old Sam. Old Sam. Sam Houston stood tall, he was true and tough. And that statue in Huntsville's pretty big, but it ain't big enough for Old Sam. Big Sam. For Old Sam. Big Sam. One last time for Old Sam. Good singing, you guys.
In many ways, the American Civil War and the decades that followed helped craft modern Texas. Reconstruction introduced Texas to a strong government located in Austin. Some thought a little too strong. So in 1876, when given an opportunity to overhaul the state constitution, Texans responded by weakening the grip of state lawmakers while defending the concept of federalism. Texas believed and still believes in states' rights. Texas, as always, was huge and full of promise. Bold stock raisers turned long-distance cattle drives into a lucrative ranching industry. Promoters had always touted the state's potential as a farm and ranch paradise, and the idea that everything was bigger in Texas began to take root. The image of the bold and daring Texans spread across the globe, while railroads spread a steel web across the state. Even the great expanse of West Texas started to fill in with homesteaders. By the end of the 1800s, more than 3 million people called Texas home. Then everything changed. In 1901, the discovery of oil near Beaumont ushered in a period of remarkable transformation. Farm laborers and cowboys became roughnecks and roustabouts in the ever-spreading oil fields of the state. Houston blossomed as the energy capital of the world, while Dallas became a financial center where deals and fortunes were made. The Wildcatter and the oil derrick became new Texas icons. 1936, Texas made a big splash across the country. At Fair Park in Dallas, the state threw itself a huge centennial birthday party. It was the debut of a new and improved Texas. Now, revelers reconnected with their Revolutionary and Republic roots. They reconnected with its cowboy identity and its Lone Star flag. The state bragged about its growing energy dominance and the amount of cattle and cotton it supplied to the world, leading one observer to note, if a man is from Texas, he'll tell you. If he's not, why embarrass him by asking? The Texas economy was booming and its population growing. Texas politicians took center stage in Washington, D.C. and impacted national and global affairs. The world wars brought interest in things Texan, and Lone Star Oil helped win those wars. American soldiers trained in the state, and they took a good look at the place. When the fighting ended, many returned and stayed. By 1960, Texas was home to 9.5 million Americans and a lot of U.S. military muscle.
Well, I was born and raised in Texas, and it means so much to me. Well, my girl comes from down in Georgia. We were up in Tennessee. We were driving down the highway. She said, "Baby, what's so great? Why, you're always going on and on about your Lone Star State." That's right, you're not from Texas. That's right, you're not from Texas. That's right, you're not from Texas, but Texas wants you anyway. That's right, you're not from Texas. That's right, you're not from Texas. That's right, you're not from Texas, but Texas wants you anyway. Texas wants you anyway. Texas wants you anyway.
1961, Texas reached for the stars. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, created the Johnson Space Center in Clear Lake on the Texas coast. As a result, the first word spoken from the moon was Houston. Since then, Texas hasn't looked back. SpaceX rockets roaring through Texas skies seem to be a pretty normal thing these days. Today, there are more than 30 million Texans. This number grows every year. Houston is the 4th largest city in the nation. San Antonio, the 7th. Dallas, the 9th. And Austin, the 11th. All are innovation hubs for the entire country and home to 54 Fortune 500 headquarters. Thanks to the Texas model, low taxes, reasonable regulation, and fair laws, Texas has flourished, leading the nation in exports. Texas currently has the 8th largest economy on earth, outpacing Russia and Brazil and Canada. In the coming years, Texas will be home to more people than any other state in the nation. Hundreds of people move here every day from other states and nations, drawn by the region's culture that support and has always supported reinvention and innovation. All these natives and newcomers make us who and what we are. Texas has become a mix of remembering the Alamo, watching a rodeo, dancing to conjunto, and busting a rhyme. All with a touch of tuxedo and an aria by Mozart. It is barbecue, barbacoa, chicken fry, and schnitzel. We are a people of many places, united by a shared identity. The hope is that all Texans understand what they are receiving, what they are building upon, as they write their chapters to this story. Ours is a tale full of optimism, energy, grit, and gumption, populated by individuals who are living artifacts of the great museum of the Texas past. This telling is not about one agenda or opinion, but many, all intertwined to make a dynamic, chaotic, and bold expression of the American idea. You know, Texas leads the nation by example, sort of like when a creek flows into a stream and becomes a mighty river.
We crossed the wild Pecos, we forded the Nueces, we swam the Guadalupe and we followed the Brazos. The Red River runs rusty, the Wichita clear, but down by the Brazos I courted my dear. Singing la 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. It's many a river that waters the land. Now the fair Angelina runs glossy and gliding. The crooked Colorado runs weaving and winding. The slow San Antonio courses the plains, but I never will walk by the Brazos again. Singing la 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee, lee, lend me your hand. It's many a river that waters the land. Well, she kissed me and she hugged me. She called me her dandy. The Trinity's muddy and the Brazos quicksandy. She kissed me and she hugged me. She called me her own. But down by the Brazos she left me alone, singing la 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. It's many a river that waters the land. Now the banks of the little river has girls aplenty. The Sabine and the Sulphur have beauties a many. Singing la 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 lee la lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. La 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 lee lee, lend me your hand. It's many a river that waters the land. It's many a river that waters the land. It takes many of us to water the land.
Well, speaking of watering the land, it's now the pitch time, because Texas as a nation turns 200 on March 2nd, 2036. With this date shimmering in the distance, the Texas Center at Schreiner University will promote the Texas identity. Bold, honest, authentic, and unashamed in all 254 counties and for every one of its people. From classrooms to boardrooms to living rooms, we will tell the Texas story. Here's how you can help. You can fund the operations of the Texas Center. Help us with that. Evangelism carries a price with it. We are also building a robust endowment. Now, I don't need to talk to this crowd about what it means to have an endowment, because y'all are all here because you have an endowment. We're trying to build a very similar endowment for the Texas Center that will provide financial stability and working capital for all of our new initiatives. So I invite you to join us. You have forms in your swag bag, and if you want to fill it out while we're sitting here, I'm all for it. And you can actually leave it with us, or I've also got an envelope you can slide it into and you can mail it. But the offer's good. She's going to match it. So think about the future of Texas. Think about your legacy and your role in making sure that everybody in Texas can find their place in this story. And give me your hand. Thank y'all.
Don Frazier, give him a hand. Fantastic.